Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's start. Very few students have joined, but okay, I'll start the basic introduction. Today, we are going to start the new topic, that is the torsion. Till now, we have studied in the strength of material the different stresses induced because of the different loading. Till now, we have studied the stresses induced because of the axial loading, maybe tensile or compressive. Then we have studied the stresses induced because of the lateral loading. The lateral loading are responsible to produce the bending moment, and because of the bending moment, there are bending stresses. One more lesson in which we have to study the stresses induced because of the eccentric loading. Now this load is the axial load. It is passing, its line of action coincide with the axis, clear? But the load acting is not axial. If it is an eccentric load, if it is an eccentric load, suppose this is the vertical column, this is the axis. Here when the load acts along the axis, the compressive stresses are induced. Here, but when the load acts with some eccentricity, that is known as the eccentric load. If I show the top view, suppose this is a circular, cross section is circular, this is the center or this is the axis. Here the line of action of the load is acting over here. The load is acting over here. So this is the eccentric load. So what type of stresses are induced because of the eccentric load? Here that also we are going to learn. Okay. Here actually after the direct and bending stresses, here this is a combination of these two only. So we should cover this here, but instead of this, I'm going to take the new lesson, that is the torsion. Now, what is the torsion? In torsion, we have to study the stresses induced in the material because of the torque, because of the twisting moment. Torque and twisting moment is one and the same thing. So, what will be the effect of the torque or the twisting moment on the component, that we are going to learn in this lesson. Here, ultimately, in the strength of material, we have to study the different type of forces and their effect on the component or the deformable body. Okay, so in this lesson particularly, we are going to study what will be the effect of, suppose this is a circular rod, what will be the effect of this rod, twisting moment or torque on this rod, that we are going to study in this lesson, torsion. Okay. Now, before starting, let me tell you one thing, or I will ask you one question, that what is the difference between the torque, it is also known as the twisting moment, and the moment of a force and the torque. What is the difference between these two? Can you tell me what is the difference between the torque and the moment of a force? For example, suppose this is one beam, cantilever beam. If I apply the force vertically downward over here, and if this distance is d, then the moment produced by this force about this fixed in A is equal to the product of the force and the distance, perpendicular distance. That is the moment. Whereas if I consider a circular shaft, suppose this end is fixed, and to this circular shaft, if I apply the tangential forces, two equal tangential forces if I apply here, then the product of this force, even if I apply a single force, then the product of this force and this distance, radial distance, suppose if I denote it as r, then this P into r is the torque. But both the quantities are the product of the force and the distance. Moment is also the product of the force and the distance, and the torque is also the product of the force and the distance. In fact, moment is the cross product of the position vector and the force vector. Similarly, the torque is also the product of the position vector and the force vector. Okay, mathematically both terms are same. But what is the major difference between these two? Can we say the moment of the force as a torque? इसको हम लोग टॉर्क बोल सकते हैं क्या? या तो ये जो टॉर्क है इसको हम लोग मोमेंट बोल सकते हैं क्या? इसको मोमेंट बोल सकते हैं, बट इट इज पर्टिकुलरली द ट्विस्टिंग मोमेंट, द नेम इटसेल्फ इंडिकेट here from this twisting moment which is known as a torque. Here itself you can define the difference between the moment and the twisting or the torque. Okay, anybody unmute and let me know your thoughts about this moment and the torque. What is the difference? What is the similarity? Anybody unmute yourself. Very basic terms, both are the very basic terms from junior college level, from 11th standards you are studying this torque and the moment. Tell me what is the difference? Come on, fast. Nobody knows. Alston.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what is the difference? My voice is breaking. My voice is not audible properly. Jimit.
Yes, sir.
My voice is breaking or is it audible properly?
So for me, it's properly audible.
Okay, Tathansh, you check your network then. He wrote in the chat box that voice is cracking. Okay. Anybody? Tell me the difference between the moment and the torque. Come on, fast. Okay. Anybody? Somebody is unmuted.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, moment is the turning effect of a force and torque is the twisting effect
Right,
of a
right.
force.
Very good, very good, very good. Okay. So torque is there is a very less difference between the moment and the torque. Okay. Then this is also the moment, but when the effect of the moment is to make a twist in the object or in a body, the effect of the moment is to twist the body or to twist the object or to twist the component. That moment is known as a torque. It is known as a twisting moment. Name itself indicate. Okay, when the effect of the force is when the effect of the moment is to twist the body, it is known as the torque or the twisting moment. Whereas when the effect of the force is to bend the body, here it is known as a moment, or we study it as a bending moment. Okay, here it is nothing but a bending moment. So the effect of the twisting torque or the twisting moment is to rotate or turn the body or to twist the body, whereas the effect of the moment or the bending moment is to bend the body. Okay, here for example, let's imagine, consider suppose this is one pole fixed at the bottom here and one horizontal arm is there. It is welded to this pole. Okay. Now let's imagine it is strong enough. Okay. This is the deformable body. Let's consider this is the rigid body and this is the deformable body. Okay. Now if I apply a force parallel to this vertical axis over here, if I apply the force, the effect of this force, and suppose this distance is d, then the moment produced by this force about this axis is P into D. But the effect of this moment is to bend this vertical pole. ये vertical pole को ऐसा bend करेगा because of this moment. Okay, here. So this becomes the bending moment. Whereas on the same way, at the same point, instead of applying the force parallel to this axis, I apply the force horizontal, perpendicular to the axis. If I apply the force like this, okay, this is the shaft, this is the horizontal arm, and I apply the force horizontally like this. Earlier I applied the force vertically downward, parallel to the axis of the shaft. Now I apply the force horizontally. Now can you tell me what will be the effect of this force? Now the moment produced by this force about this axis is same. It is P into D. But the effect of this moment is to twist this pole. It will twist the pole. So that becomes the twisting moment. Yeah. So ultimate conclusion is that here when the moment produce the twisting in a component or twist in a component, angular deformation of the component, it is known as a torque, whereas when the moment produce the bending in a component, it is known as a moment or bending moment. Here in this lesson we have studied particularly this. Here torque, here which is the moment which is responsible to twist. Okay, there are various components which are subjected to the twisting moment or the torque. For example, the shaft of the fan. Here when we start the fan, here so it rotates, and because of that rotational motion, the shaft is in the twisting moment. Same thing if you consider any shaft of the machine. Here the shaft of the machine is used to transmit the motion as well as power from one device to another device. Here so when this shaft rotate, when it transmit the power, when it rotate, here this because of this rotational motion, that shaft is also subjected to the torque or twisting moment. Okay, so these are some of the examples, couplings which are subjected to the twisting moment or the torque. Okay, various applications are there. Okay, now which are the different type of stresses inducing the twisting moment or the torque that we have to study. But before that, let me tell you, to find out the twisting moment or the torque, or to find out the stresses induced, here we are going to derive the torsion equation. It is just similar to the bending equation. Okay, if you are remembering, we have derived the bending equation into two parts. Here exactly in the similar way, we are going to derive the torsion equation also in two different parts. Okay. Now to derive this torsion equation is nothing but a relation between the applied twisting moment and the induced shear stresses. Clear? Whenever there is a twisting moment, the shear stresses are induced. That I will explain. Okay. But remember, because of the twisting moment, the shear stresses are induced. Because there is an angular deflection. Shear strain is nothing but an angular deflection or angular deformation. So whenever there is an angular deformation, there are shear stresses. Yes. So twisting moment is responsible to induce the shear stresses. Here, remember. So this torsion equation is nothing but the relation between the torque or twisting moment and the corresponding angle of twist and the shear stresses. Here, so we have to derive that relation. Yeah. So if I apply some amount of twisting moment, how much is the angular deformation? Just in similar way, in the first lesson, if we apply some force, how much is the linear deformation? Okay, because of this axial force. Here, this we have studied in the first lesson. Here, because of the axial force. So similarly, in the torsion, we have to study if I apply some torque here, what will be the angular deformation? Here, kitna angle turn hoga? Yes, so that relation is nothing but a torsion equation. Okay, now we are deriving this torsion equation under certain assumptions. Here, let's consider, suppose, consider this is one shaft, circular shaft. Here, let this end is fixed. Okay, and this is the axis. Okay, this is the radius. This is the center. Okay. Now, we are deriving this equation, relation between the twisting moment, corresponding shear stress, and the angle of twist. To derive this relation, we are going to do, we are deriving this equation under certain assumptions. Which are that assumptions? The first assumption is the material should be homogeneous and isotropic. Okay. The second assumption is that this circular cross section before twisting and after twisting should remain circular. Okay. It should not happen that if I apply some twisting moment over here, this circular cross section become oval. It should not happen. Okay. Then this circular cross section which was plane before twisting should remain plane after twisting. There should not be any warp. Okay, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि this part comes ahead and this goes behind. Yes, so the cross section which was plane before twisting should remain plane after twisting. Yeah, it should get only twist. There should not be any warpage or like this. Okay, then this radial line which was straight before twisting should remain straight after twisting. Here it should not happen that, suppose if I consider this radial line, okay, after applying, suppose this point is O, this point is B. So after applying some twisting momentum, here this shaft get twisted and this B point gets shifted over here, B dash. So this is the twisting because of this torque, and this angle is known as the angle of twist here, which is normally denoted by theta, angle of twist here. So one of the assumption is that here this radial line on the cross section should remain straight before and after the twisting. Okay, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि before applying the torque it is straight and after applying the torque it becomes such type of elliptical or something like that. Okay, here it should not become curved, it should remain straight. Yeah, so these are the certain assumptions under which we are going to derive this torsion equation. So let's consider this shaft of circular cross section of diameter D, length is L. Here, let the diameter is D. Here, length is L. This total length is L. This diameter is D. Radius is R. Let R is the radius. Now consider this shaft is subjected to a twisting moment. Okay, let it is subjected to the twisting moment T. It is subjected to the twisting moment T, torque. This which we can produce by applying the tangential force on this shaft. Okay, instead of showing the force, I have shown directly the twisting moment T. So this shaft is subjected to the twisting moment T, torque. Equal amount of twisting moment torque is but opposite. This is a clockwise, so here it will be the anti-clockwise. Reactive twisting moment is induced at this fixed end. Okay, here if it is not fixed and if I apply the torque on one end, it will rotate like this. It won't be subjected to the twisting moment. So if I keep it fixed and if I apply the torque, then it will twist. Okay, so at end when reactive twisting moment is induced. Here, now let's consider, suppose I'm considering one straight line on the surface of the shaft. This is the line, straight line which is parallel to this axis on the surface of the shaft. This is the position of that line before twisting. Let this line is AB. This is the line on the surface of the shaft which is parallel to this axis of the shaft. Now because of this twisting moment, because of this torque applied at a distance of L from this fixed end, here let this B point get shifted from here to here. Let this is B dash. Okay, or you can say it as a C. So this B gets shifted at this point C because of this applied twisting moment, and this AB line get deformed into AC. Here you will observe that if I keep it fixed and if I rotate it over here, here this vertical line here will rotate like this. It will be rotated in the form of helix. Understood? Here it will rotate in the form of helix. Okay, so this was the original line. Here if I twist it like this, here so this point is remain here only and this line gets turned like this. So it is in the form of helix, like a thread of the screw. Okay, here, so this is the initial position of that line. This B gets shifted over here and this AB line get deformed to the AC. I am considering it as a straight line, but actually it is in the form of helix. But if I open that helix, here it will get a straight line. Okay, so this is the angular deformation. Let this angular deformation and this angle is suppose phi. So this phi is the strain in fiber. It is the shear strain because it is the angular deformation. It is not a linear deformation, it is the angular deformation. So this phi is nothing but a shear strain. Shear strain in fiber AB. It is a shear strain in fiber AB. Clear? So this shear strain in fiber AB can be written as this BC upon this L, because we know that the shear strain tan phi equal to this change in length, it is BC upon this L. But since this angle of twist, shear strain angle phi is very, very small, so tan phi can be written as phi. So I can write down the shear strain in the fiber AB is equal to BC upon L. Okay, this is the shear strain in the fiber AB. It is BC upon L. Now, let's consider this cross section. This is the radius position of this radial line. Let this point is O. This position of the radial line before twist, and after twist, this radial line gets shifted over here because B gets shifted over here. Here, this angle between these two radial lines before twist and after twist is known as the angle of twist, and it is denoted by theta. Here, so this theta is the angle of twist. It is known as the angle of twist. Understood? Now, from the geometry of this figure, here this arc length BC can be written as it is r into theta. When theta is in radians, remember this theta is in radians. So we know that the arc length equal to r into theta provided the theta is in radians. Here, if I substitute here, I can write down the shear strain phi is equal to, it is r into theta upon L. This is the shear strain. Here, this is the shear strain in this fiber AB, which is on the surface of that shaft, which is at a distance of r from the center. Okay, so this is the shear strain in this fiber AB. It is r into theta upon L. We have written initially the shear strain in the fiber AB, BC upon L. Then this from the geometry we have written BC equal to, which is the arc length, r into theta, and I have substituted it here. So the shear strain in the fiber AB equal to r theta upon L. Now, since there is a shear strain, here there has to be the shear stress. I already told you that whenever any component is subjected to the twisting moment, the shear stress is induced. Clear? And one of the assumptions is that the shaft is loaded within elastic limit. So since it is loaded with the elastic limit, we know that the modulus of rigidity for this material is equal to the shear stress. I am denoting by tau, shear stress upon shear strain. This G is the modulus of rigidity, shear stress upon shear strain. Okay, if I substitute it here, so I will get this G equal to, it is tau into L upon R into theta. Okay, relation between the angle of twist and the shear stress. Okay, if I simplify this, here I will get the relation here, that is tau upon R is equal to G theta upon tau upon R equal to G theta upon L. Here, so this is the first part which gives you the relation between the shear stress induced. Remember one thing, this is the shear stress induced in this layer AB. Okay, because this is the shear strain in the layer A, fiber AB. So this is also the shear stress in the fiber AB, which is at a distance of R from the center of the shaft. Okay, here, so this is the relation between the shear stress in the fiber AB. R is the distance of that fiber from the center of the shaft. Here G is the modulus of rigidity, theta is the angle of twist, and L is the length of the shaft. Or this theta upon L, this is known as the angle of twist per unit length. It is the angle of twist per unit length, theta upon L. So most of the time in the question it is also given as the angle of twist per unit length is suppose 1 degree. So per unit length means for 1 meter of the shaft, the relative angle of twist is 1 degree. Okay, so it is theta is the angle of twist over the length of L meter. Here the angle of twist is 0. So over the L meter, the angle of twist is theta. If I take the length 2L, so here at this point, here the length is 2L. यहाँ पे angle of twist कितना रहेगा? It is a linear variation. So here over the length of L, if it is theta, angle of twist. So over the length of 2L, it becomes 2 theta. This 2 theta is the angle of twist over the length of 2L. So angle of twist per unit length is remain same. Okay, so theta is the angle of twist over the length of L meter. Or remember, this theta upon L is the angle of twist per unit length. So this equation gives you the relation between the shear stress induced because of this twisting moment torque, where G is the modulus of rigidity, theta is the angle of twist over the length of L meter. Okay, so this is the first part. Let's say this as the equation number 1. But important thing is that from this equation 1, I can write down this tau is equal to this G theta upon L into R. Now for this shaft, the G is the modulus of rigidity is remains constant anyway, and this angle of twist per unit length is also remains same. Here independently theta and L will change, but angle of twist per unit length is remain same. Here like it is theta over the length of L, or 2 theta over the length of 2L, or 3 theta over the length of 3L. This ratio is remain constant. This is the angle of twist per unit length. Here, so this term is constant. So I can say that because of the twisting moment, the shear stress is directly proportional to the R, and it is a linear variation. Okay, here since it is a linear variation, and how it varies, it is shear stress is directly proportional to the R. R is a radial distance. It means that when there is a twisting moment is applied on a shaft, the maximum shear stress is induced in the extreme fiber. Here on the surface पे maximum shear stress induced होगा. And when R is 0, means at the center of the shaft, what will be the value of the shear stress? So at this center of the shaft, the shear stress is 0. Understood? Here, look at the board. If suppose this is the cross section of the shaft, which is subjected to the twisting moment tau. Okay. This is the center, and this distance is R. Clear? So according to this equation, the shear stress, it is a shear stress. Here in bending, we have studied the bending stresses. Bending stresses का दो type का nature रहता है. It is tensile as well as compressive. Bending stresses also varies linearly. Shear stresses also varies linearly. Okay, but in case of the shear stress, there won't be any tensile or compressive because it is a shear stress. Clear? So how the shear stress varies in the different layer of this cross section. So we know that when R equal to 0, the shear stress is 0. It varies linearly and become maximum at a maximum distance. Means in the extreme layer, the shear stress is maximum. So here, this is the shear stress tau over a distance of R. Now, what about this? It is similar. Okay. On the other end also, the shear stress is varies similarly. Okay. So this is the shear stress variation because of the twisting moment. This is the shear stress variation due to twisting moment, due to the torque or the twisting moment. Remember this thing. Shear stress variation due to the torque or the twisting moment. Here have understood this. Here ये ऐसा क्यों नहीं आया समझ में आया क्या इसमें? This was the bending stress distribution. This is the shear stress distribution because of the twisting moment. Here इसके बाद में हम लोगों को ये भी स्टडी करने का है कि what is the shear stress here distribution because of the shear force. Here and the shear stress distribution because of the shear force here is a parabolic in nature. Understood? It is a parabolic in nature. How to draw this, I will tell you later. Clear? But remember, this is the shear stress distribution or shear stress variation due to the twisting moment torque, which is 0 at the center and varies linearly and maximum at the extreme layer. Here. So the first relation is tau upon R equal to G theta upon L. Here theta is the angle of twist. Tau is the corresponding shear stress. Here, so very simple. First part is very simple. We have calculated the shear strain, and we have written this arc length by R into theta, and we have written this. Very simple first part. Okay. Now second part of the same derivation. Let's consider one section. Let this section is mm at any distance, and let's consider the FBD of left part. Okay, so I'm showing the FBD of this left part. Here, this is the section MM. Okay, this is subjected to the twisting moment torque. Okay. Now, let's consider on this cross section one small elemental area dA. Consider a small elemental area dA, which is at a distance of small r from the center. This is small r, ये capital R. This was the radial length of this fiber. Okay, here this is the radial length, but it is some intermediate area I have considered, which is at a distance of r. Okay, now in second part, what I am going to do, I will calculate how much is the shear resistance is offered by this area. Here we have, in the first lesson also we have studied the resisting force per unit area is the stress. वो resisting force कौन सा था? That was the force which is resist the external applied force. In bending stresses, we have studied the moment of resistance, which resists the bending moment. And here also, when we apply the external twisting torque, here one internal resisting twisting moment is induced in the material. Okay, here so here we are going to calculate that shear resistance or the torsional resistance. Let's say it as a shear resistance or the torsional resistance, which resists this external applied torque. Okay, it resists the external applied torque. Here, so we are going to calculate that shear resistance or moment of resistance developed inside the shaft. Okay, so how to calculate that? So let's consider the small elemental area dA at a distance of small r from the center. Now, how much is the shear stress induced on this area, which is at a distance of r? Here, so shear stress induced in area dA. This shear stress in this area dA, I am going to denote it as a Q. Here it is not a tau. Tau is the shear stress in this layer AB, which is at the extreme layer. यहाँ पे shear stress tau है in the extreme layer. But this area पे shear stress कितना होगा, which is at a distance of r. Now we know that because of the twisting moment, here the shear stress varies linearly. At a distance of r, the shear stress is tau. So at a distance of small r, how much is the shear stress? This I have denoted by Q. So how much is that shear stress? That I can calculate it by using the property of similar triangle, because it is a linear variation here. So it is tau upon r into small r. This is the shear stress induced in the small elemental area dA. Okay, then how much is the shear force? Here this is the force of resistance. This is the force of resistance induced here. So how much is the shear force? The shear force is equal to the shear stress into area here. So the shear force is equal to, it is Q into dA, and Q is how much? It is tau upon r into small r into dA. This is the shear force induced. Here I am using the different color chalk here to show the shear force. Okay, the shear force because of this twisting moment is like this. This is the shear force, or you can see it as a force of resistance. It is the force of resistance against the shear. Okay, this is the force of resistance, the shear stress into. हेलो, हाँ, हो बोलतोय. हाँ 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 हाँ, हो मी थोड्या वेळाने कॉल करतो. माझं लेक्चर चालू आहे. मी एक 10-15 मिनिटात कॉल करतो तुम्हाला. ठीक आहे. हाँ, ओके. Okay, so this is the force of resistance, shear force, which is tau upon r into dA. Here, now the moment of this force of resistance about the center. So moment of resistance. This in bending stresses, I told you that this moment of resistance is what? It is nothing but a moment produced by this resisting force. Yeah. So moment of resistance is equal to tau upon R into dA into R. Here this resisting force into R. It is the moment of resistance. Okay. Here I have understood this same procedure what we have studied in bending stresses. Yeah. So this is the moment of resistance. It is tau upon R into dA into R square, or it is R square into dA. This is the moment of resistance. So this is the moment offered by this small elemental area against this twisting moment. This is the moment offered by this small elemental area against this twisting moment T. अगर ये resistance develop ही नहीं होता है, तो if I apply the torque, this shaft can easily rotate. Okay, here. So this, because of this moment of resistance, here there is a rigidity. Okay, so this is the moment of resistance offered by the small elemental area. So how much is the total moment resisted by this total cross-sectional area? So total moment of resistance, but this is the resistance against the twisting moment. In the bending stresses, we have studied the moment of resistance which resists the bending moment. This is the moment which resists the twisting moment. Okay, so total moment of resistance, it is the total moment of resistance is equal to the integration of tau upon R into R square dA. So which is equal to, it is tau upon R, both are constant, into integration of R square dA. Here, now this R square dA is what? This dA is the small elemental area whose distance is R from the center. So this R square dA becomes the second moment of this small elemental area, and this integration becomes the moment of inertia of this total area about this central line. Here, so here, listen carefully. If this is a circular area, this is Ixx, this is Iyy. Okay, whereas here, if I consider the small elemental area and this distance is R, and if I write dA into R square, so this becomes the moment of inertia of this area about this axis, ZZ axis पे moment of inertia हो गया ये. This is the moment of inertia about the ZZ axis. Here, so this integration of R square dA is the moment of inertia of this entire cross-sectional area about this axis. Okay, this is known as the polar moment of inertia. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? It is a polar moment of inertia. Polar moment of inertia is nothing but a moment of inertia of a cross section about an axis perpendicular to that cross section. So this is known as the polar moment of inertia. Here, for circular section, if you consider this as the x-x axis, this as the y-y axis, so this polar moment of inertia is nothing but a moment of inertia about the z-z axis. It is known as a polar moment of inertia. Here, so this integration of R square dA is the polar moment of inertia. Here you can denote it as a I suffix P, or you can denote it by J, capital J. It is a polar moment of inertia about an axis perpendicular to the cross section. That is known as the polar moment of inertia. Here, so this R square dA is the polar moment of inertia. Here, if I denote it by J, so it is tau upon R into J. Here, and in equilibrium, this moment of resistance is equal to the external twisting moment. Here, for which we can equate it with T. Here, so from this one, I can write it is T upon J equal to tau upon R. So this is the relation between the applied twisting moment here and the corresponding shear stress at a distance of R from the center. So this is the second part. This is the second part. Here, so the torsion equation can be written as T upon J equal to tau upon R equal to G theta upon L. This is known as the torsion equation. Here, where this T is the twisting moment or the torque. Twisting moment or the torque. J is the polar moment of inertia. It is polar moment of inertia. Okay. It is the polar moment of inertia. Any doubt in the derivation? Unmute yourself and ask me if you have any doubt in the derivation. Derivation is very, very important. If it is a normal exam, here this derivation is very important, as well as bending derivation is very important. Both derivations are similar. दोनों derivation दो part में derive किए. In first part, here we have calculated the shear strain, and with help of that shear strain, we have calculated the shear stress, and we have written the first part. In second part, we have considered the small elemental area. उस पे कितना shear stress act होता है वो calculate किया. Then that shear stress into area gives you the shear force, and the moment of that shear force about the center gives you the moment of resistance. And in equilibrium, the moment of resistance is equal to the external applied twisting moment. So you will get this second part. Understood? Any doubt? Is that clear? Very simple, not that difficult. Okay. So this T is the twisting moment, J is the polar moment of inertia, R is the radius of the shaft. Listen to me. R is the radius of the shaft, tau is the shear stress. Listen to me. This tau is the shear stress at a distance of R from the center of the shaft. So while solving the sum, whenever the maximum shear stress is given, so remember maximum shear stress is always induced at the extreme fiber of the shaft also. Okay, so when maximum shear stress is given, this R must be the external diameter of the shaft. Understood? Here, so it is the shear stress. G is the modulus of rigidity. Theta is the angle of twist. In this formula, this angle of twist should be always in radian. If it is given in degree, convert in radian and use it here. Here, because we have, while deriving the formula, we have written that arc length BC equal to R into theta. In this formula, theta is in radian. Okay, so this angle of twist is in radian. And L is the length of the shaft. Length of shaft. Or this theta upon L, it is the angle of twist per unit length. Angle of twist per unit length. Angle of twist per unit length. Okay. Now, this J is the polar moment of inertia. It is the moment of inertia about the ZZ axis. Here. Now, for the solid circular shaft, whose diameter is D, for the solid shaft, how much is the polar moment of inertia? So it is the moment of inertia about this axis which is perpendicular to this cross section or ZZ axis here, and we know that the moment of inertia about the ZZ axis perpendicular to the plane is equal to Ixx plus Iyy. Now for this circular section, here if the D is the diameter, Ixx is equal to Iyy. And what is that in terms of diameter? It is pi d raised to power 4 upon 64. Here plus pi d raised to power 4 upon 64. In terms of d, it is pi d raised to power 4 upon 64. In terms of radius, it is pi r raised to power 4 by 4. Here don't get confused in radius and diameter. Here, so this Izz for the solid shaft, it is pi d raised to power 4 upon 32. This plus this. Or in terms of radius, it is pi r raised to power 4 upon, how much is this? Pi r raised to power 4 upon 32 into d equal to 2r. So pi r raised to power 4 upon 4. Am I right? Just we have to calculate that. We calculate and write it in terms of radius. Here, instead of writing the wrong, here you can calculate and write it in terms of r. That is pi into 2r raised to power 4 upon 32. Here, so it is pi into r raised to power 4 upon 32 into 2 raised to power 4, 16. Here, it is 2 raised to power 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 8, 16. So it is pi r raised to power 4 upon 2. Then also I will check it once again and I will let you know. Don't write it in terms of r. Right now write it in terms of diameter only. Pi d raised to power 4 upon 32. Yeah, this is for the solid shaft. Okay. In 1 minute, I'll tell you what is exactly. No, it is given in terms of diameter only. Okay, it is pi by 32 into d raised to power 4. Remember in terms of diameter, here or converted in terms of radius also. So this is for the solid shaft. Okay, now for the hollow shaft, let the outer diameter is capital D, inner diameter is small d. So the moment of inertia here for the hollow shaft is pi by 32. In the similar way we have to calculate here into in bracket d raised to power 4 minus small d raised to power 4. Okay, this is the polar moment of inertia for the hollow shaft. So for the hollow shaft, the polar moment of inertia is pi by 32 into in bracket d raised to power 4 minus small d raised to power 4. It is not d minus d whole raised to power 4. It is capital D raised to power 4 minus small d raised to power 4. That is the hollow circular shaft. Here, any doubt? Okay. The next point. This equation is known as a torsion equation. Okay. Now, next point is the strength of the shaft. Which is the strength of the shaft? So, the strength of the shaft is nothing but the maximum torque transmitted by the shaft. Maximum torque transmitted by the shaft corresponding to, listen to me, if the torque increases, the shear stress also goes on increasing. Yeah. So the strength of the shaft, if you want to calculate the strength of any shaft, it is nothing but the maximum torque transmitted by the shaft corresponding to the permissible shear stress. Okay, so for any particular shaft material, if it is given that the permissible shear stress is 100 Newton per millimeter square, so corresponding to the stress, या जो maximum stress, sorry, maximum torque transmit होगा, that maximum torque is nothing but the strength of the shaft. If you try to transmit more than that, the induced shear stress will be greater than 100 Newton per millimeter square, which is beyond the permissible limit. Okay, so what is the strength of the shaft? It is the maximum torque corresponding to the permissible shear stress. Okay, the next term is the torsional rigidity or torsional stiffness. Torsional stiffness, or it is also known as the torsional rigidity. Torsional rigidity. This torsional stiffness or torsional rigidity is nothing but the torque transmitted per unit angle of twist. How can you define the torsional stiffness or the torsional rigidity? Is the torque transmitted per unit angle of twist. Here, so this T upon theta is known as the torsional rigidity. Okay, which can be written as, if I equate this first and third, here then T upon theta can be written as G into J upon L. This is the torsional rigidity. Okay, here now most of the time it is required to design the shaft or to calculate the shear stress induced or to calculate the angle of twist. Here, so remember one thing while solving the sum, here whenever the twisting moment and the shear stress is given, use this relation. Whereas when the torque is given and the angle of twist is given, use this first and third relation for solving the sum. Okay, most of the time there is a question. Here question कैसा रहता है देखो कि for any particular application, suppose we want to transmit the power from engine to some particular machine. Let's consider in vehicle, we want to transmit the power from the engine to the rear wheel or to the differential. Okay, in that case, suppose question is that we have to transmit the some torque. Suppose 100 Newton meter itna torque we have to transmit. Okay. Now when transmitting the shaft, we have to take care that the shear stress induced in the shaft should not exceed than 50 Newton per millimeter square. इतना टॉर्क ट्रांसमिट करने का है, लेकिन ये टॉर्क ट्रांसमिट करने के लिए कंडीशन क्या है कि मैक्सिमम स्ट्रेस इंड्यूस इन द shaft should not exceed than 50 Newton per millimeter square. This is the permissible shear stress is given. Clear? इससे ज्यादा स्ट्रेस इंड्यूस नहीं होना चाहिए. As well as while transmitting this torque, here the angle of twist in the shaft should not be greater than 1 degree over the length of 1 meter. Here it is the angle of twist should not be greater than 1 degree per unit length. ओके यार कि इतना पावर ट्रांसमिट होना चाहिए, स्ट्रेस इससे ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए, और एंगल ऑफ ट्विस्ट व्हेन वी ट्रांसमिट द पावर वो भी 1 डिग्री से ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए. सो करस्पॉन्डिंग टू दिस, टू सेटिस्फाई दिस कंडीशन, व्हाट शुड बी द डायमीटर ऑफ द शाफ्ट, ये हम लोगों को डिजाइन करने का. ओके, करस्पॉन्डिंग टू दिस वी हैव टू डिजाइन द डायमीटर ऑफ द शाफ्ट. अंडरस्टूड? क्लियर? कभी कभी सम सॉल्व करने के लिए डायमीटर दिया रहेगा, टॉर्क दिया रहेगा, तो इट में आस्क टू कैलकुलेट द एंगल ऑफ ट्विस्ट एंड द shear stress. That is very simple straightforward question. But here how to calculate the diameter? Here, so here there are two conditions we have to satisfy. Permissible stress should not go beyond 50, and the second one is that the angle of twist should not go beyond 1 degree per unit length. Yes, means while designing the shaft, we have to design the shaft on the basis of strength, so that the shear stress should not exceed than the permissible shear stress. And second is you have to design the shaft, you have to find out the diameter such that the angle of twist should not be greater than 1 degree. Means it is known as the design or diameter on the basis of stiffness or rigidity. So when such type of question is there, you have to calculate the diameter of the shaft on the basis of strength, on the basis of strength, that is on the basis of the shear stress, permissible shear stress. Okay, so when it is on the basis of permissible shear stress, we can use this relation P upon J equal to tau upon R. This is the basic equation. Okay, torque is known to you, permissible shear stress is known to you. Here this R is unknown, and in J also you will get the diameter. This is the radius, which is d by 2. Okay, so in this term also there is a diameter, in this term also there is a diameter. So if unknown is only one, if you solve that, you will get a diameter. But this diameter is the diameter on the basis of strength. Because of this diameter, अगर इतना diameter का shaft use किया, तो shear stress will be within the permissible limit. So this is known as the diameter of the shaft on the basis of strength. Okay, here or on the basis of shear stress. Here. Now, this is the basic formula. Now, I am simplifying this formula. Look at the board. This T upon J is the polar moment of inertia. It is pi d raised to power 4 upon 32 equal to, it is shear stress, permissible shear stress upon R. R is d by 2. If I simplify this, I will get T equal to pi by 16 tau into d cube. Here, same equation I have written in this form directly. If you substitute the value, here torque is given, tau is given, directly you will get the d. This is for the solid shaft. Same formula है, ये दोनों same formula है. Just मैंने यहाँ पे simplify किया by substituting the J, polar moment of inertia. Here, so this equation directly you can use to calculate the diameter of the shaft when it is on the basis of strength, on the basis of shear stress. Okay, but this is for the solid. This is for solid shaft, because here I will use pi d raised to power 4 upon 32. If it is the hollow shaft, the formula becomes T equal to pi by 16 tau into, in bracket, it is d raised to power 4 minus small d raised to power 4 upon capital D. Because maximum torque, this is the permissible maximum stress, is induced in the extreme layer. Means here this R is capital D by 2, small d nahi, inner diameter nahi, capital D by 2. And if you simplify this, you will get T equal to pi by 16 tau into capital D raised to power 4 minus small d raised to power 4 upon D. Here, this is the simplification of this formula. It is pi by 32 into d raised to power 4 minus small d raised to power 4. It is J for the solid hollow shaft, which is equal to tau upon, this is the maximum shear stress induced in the extreme layer. मतलब ये layer में. What is the distance of this extreme layer? It is capital D by 2, not small d by 2. This is the small d. It is not small d by 2, it is capital D by 2. And if you simplify this, you will get this. Yeah. So, on the basis of strength, you have to use this formula T upon J equal to tau upon R. If you simplify this, you will get T equal to pi by 16 into tau into D cube. Or it is T equal to pi by 16 into tau into, in bracket, capital D raised to power 4 minus small d raised to power 4 upon capital D. This is on the basis of strength. First criteria. सेकंड क्राइटेरिया ऐसा शाफ्ट डिजाइन करने का, ऐसा डायमीटर कैलकुलेट करने का है कि एंगल ऑफ ट्विस्ट शुड नॉट बी ग्रेटर देन 1 डिग्री. मींस इट इज नोन एज द डिजाइनिंग ऑफ द शाफ्ट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रिजिडिटी. इट इज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रिजिडिटी. So how to design the shaft on the basis of rigidity? On the basis of rigidity, that is when the limiting value of the angle of twist is given. Okay, here it is on the basis of rigidity. Now when it is on the basis of rigidity, so you have to use the first and third. So it is T upon J equal to G theta upon L. Here I am not simplifying this, but while solving this, here in this term J there will be the diameter, and if you simplify this, you will get that diameter. So this is on the basis of rigidity. Understood? Here, so second criteria to design the shaft, this is the first criteria. Second criteria, on the basis of rigidity. On the basis of rigidity. So on the basis of rigidity, it is T upon J equal to G theta upon L. If you want to satisfy both the criteria, अभी while solving the sum ऐसा आएगा कि कभी सिर्फ एक ही criteria दिया रहेगा, only shear stress would have been given, then in that case no need to use this criteria of rigidity because that data is not provided. So in that case you have to calculate it only on the basis of strength, means only on the basis of shear stress. Sometimes only angle of rigidity, angle of twist is given, means in that case you have to design the shaft on the basis of rigidity. Yeah, but sometimes both conditions are given. You have to satisfy both the conditions. Then in that case, what to do? Write down the given data. Yeah, then on the basis of strength, calculate the diameter. Then on the basis of rigidity, calculate the diameter. These two diameters will be different. Same nahi aega. Okay. Then to for the safe diameter, consider the safe diameter. ये डायमेंशन है अभी, फोर्स नहीं है. ओके, या तो स्ट्रेस भी नहीं है. When such type of sums are there, when we calculated the force by using the 2-3 different methods or by 2-3 different constraints, then we, for the safe force, we take the minimum value of the force. Whereas it is the diameter or area, when dimension is there, here, and when we calculate its value by using the different parameters, by using the different basics, here, then in that case, here you have to consider the maximum value out of these two. Here, ऐसे दो वैल्यू मिल गए कि उसमें से आपको मैक्सिमम वैल्यू सिलेक्ट करने का है एज अ सेफ डायमीटर. अगर यही फोर्स है तो उसमें से मिनिमम वैल्यू आएगा सेफ फोर्स का. अगर डायमेंशन है, डायमीटर है, एरिया है तो और थिकनेस है, तो यू हैव टू टेक द for safe dimension you have to take the maximum value out of these two, minimum nahi. Okay, so this is on the basis of diameter, sorry, on the basis of strength and the rigidity we have calculated the diameter. Any doubt, any difficulty? Okay, last point.
Sir, can you please repeat this for safe diameter?
Safe diameter. Okay, listen. I told you that suppose we have to transmit a torque of 100 Newton meter. Here such that the shear stress should not exceed than 50 Newton per millimeter square and angle of twist per unit length should not be greater than 1 degree. ये condition satisfy करने का है. Okay. Other dimensions, other details are also given. So since both the conditions are given, so I will calculate the diameter first on the basis of strength. Suppose I got it on the basis of strength, the diameter I got suppose 80 millimeter. ओके देन सेकंड, मतलब ये इतना डायमीटर का शाफ्ट यूज किया और इतना फोर्स अगर इतना टॉर्क अगर ट्रांसमिट किया तो उसमें से मैक्सिमम स्ट्रेस इंड्यूस होगा 50 न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वायर, उससे ज्यादा नहीं। अगर टॉर्क इंक्रीज करता हूं तो स्ट्रेस भी इंड्यूस होगा, बट दिस इज द लिमिटिंग वैल्यू ऑफ द टॉर्क हियर। सो द फॉर टू satisfy this condition the safe diameter is 80 millimeter, but we have to satisfy both the conditions. So when I calculate the diameter on the basis of rigidity by using this formula to satisfy this angle of twist here, so suppose I got the diameter equal to, suppose I got the diameter of 95 millimeter here, इससे ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई हो रहा है, इससे ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई हो रहा है, बट सिंस इट इज द अभी अलग अलग तो नहीं यूज कर सकते, एक ही शाफ्ट यूज करने का है जिसमें ये दोनों कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई करने का है here. So by calculation I got the two different values. Then what to do? So in this case you have to take the maximum value out of these two. ये दोनों में से safe diameter कौन सा होगा? फिर I want to calculate the safe diameter so that it can satisfy both the condition. So the safe diameter will be the greater diameter out of these two. So safe diameter is 95 millimeter and not 80, because if I use 80 millimeter diameter shaft to satisfy this condition, so in that case the stress induced will be less than 50 Newton per millimeter square. But in that case the angle of twist ज्यादा होगा, उसमें 1 डिग्री से ज्यादा twist होगा वो, which is not permissible. That's why I cannot use this. Yes, so that I have to go for this. Understood? Any doubt?
Okay, sir. Understood. Thank you.
Okay.
No, sir.
Huh? Okay. Then last, I told you that the shaft, when it transmits the torque, here we need to transmit the power also. Okay. So while solving the sum, most of the time the power is given. So with help of that power, we need to calculate the torque. Here, now tell me what is the relation between the power and the torque? What is the relation between the power and the torque? You must be knowing that we drive the vehicle. When we drive the vehicle, we start the vehicle in the first gear. What happens in the first gear? In the first gear, the torque is more, speed is less. So the more power is transmitted. In the higher gear, what happens? The torque is less, speed is more. So can you tell me what is the relation between the power and the torque? You must have studied it. So the relation between the power transmitted by the shaft and the torque is given by P equal to T into omega. Omega is the angular speed of that shaft. Okay, here, so this omega can be written as it is 2 pi n by 60. Here, n is the speed in RPM. It is the speed in RPM. So direct relation between the power and the torque can be written as P equal to 2 pi n upon 60 or 2 pi nt upon 60. Relation between the power and the torque. Here, so last time मैंने दिया था कि we have to transmit the torque of 100 Newton meter such that the shear stress should not exceed than 50 and angle of twist should not be greater than 1 degree. Instead of that क्या देंगे कि we have to for some particular application. Here we want to transmit the power of 5 kilowatt at 200 RPM such that ये torque नहीं दिया रहेगा. Power इतना power transmit करने का है at this speed. Here such that the stress should not exceed than 50, theta should not exceed than 1 degree. Same question है, but instead of torque, power is given. So to transmit this power at this speed, how much torque is required? So first you need to calculate that torque by using this formula, and by using the torque we can calculate the diameter. Or in some questions,
मला नाही दिसणार, तुला दिसेल. नाही जाऊ, राहू दे आहे चांगले.
अरे unmute your phone. Who is there? Okay. So if such type of sum is there, if such type of application is there, the power we want to transmit at this speed. So with help of this power and speed, you can calculate first torque, and then with help of this torque you can calculate the diameter. Sometime it may happen that ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन आएगा कि one shaft is there, the maximum shear stress is 50 Newton per millimeter square and angle of twist is 1 degree. Corresponding to this, your diameter would have been given. Here find out how much maximum power it can be transmitted at a speed of 200 rpm. Here, if the diameter of the shaft is suppose 80 millimeter, such that the shear stress is 50 and angle of twist is 1 degree, find out how much power it can transmit at a speed of 200 rpm. So corresponding to this diameter and this shaft and theta, we have to calculate the torque, and using this torque here, we can calculate the power. Okay, here, any doubt? Okay, and last point is that, so that tomorrow we can solve the sum. Last point is, this P equal to 2 pi nt upon 60. Here now power may be given in watt, it may be given in kilowatt. Okay, so remember one thing here, very important point, very important. By solving the sum in the exam, most of the time student make this mistake. Okay, here most of the time क्या दिया रहता है कि ये permissible shear stress जो रहता है, that permissible shear stress is given in Newton per millimeter square. ये dimension जो रहता है वो millimeter में रहता है, मतलब J will be in millimeter raised to power 4. अगर ये millimeter square में है, ये millimeter में है, ये millimeter में है, तो torque must be in Newton millimeter. यार ये टॉर्क न्यूटन मिलीमीटर में ही चाहिए. अगर ये मिलीमीटर के टर्म में है तो पहले वो प्रॉपर्ली यूनिट यूज करो, कन्वर्जन प्रॉपर्ली करो. अंडरस्टूड? तो यहाँ पे वो टॉर्क चाहिए न्यूटन मिलीमीटर में चाहिए. ओके, बिकॉज ऑल अदर यूनिट्स आर इन मिलीमीटर. सेम थिंग हियर आल्सो. On the basis of rigidity also, if G is given in Newton per millimeter square, L is in millimeter, J is in millimeters to power 4, so this torque has to be in Newton millimeter. You can't take there, it is in Newton meter. Understood? Here, so now come to this. Now, if this torque is in Newton meter, this torque is in Newton meter, N is in RPM. So, if I divide it by 60, so it becomes revolution per second. So, it is Newton meter per second. That is joule per second. So, it becomes in watt. Okay. So, when I consider this P and T in this relation here, if this P is in watt, this torque must be in Newton meter. If this P is in kilowatt, this torque must be in kilonewton meter. It should not be in Newton millimeter, because Newton millimeter per second is not watt. Newton meter per second is the watt. So torque must be in Newton meter or kilonewton meter in this formula. And N is in RPM. That's why we have divided by 60. So this N divided by 60 becomes RPS, or this term is radian per second. Okay, omega. Here, so in this formula, if the torque is in Newton meter, P must be in watt. If T is in kilonewton meter, P must be in kilowatt or vice versa. Okay, अगर पावर दिया है वॉट में तो आपको टॉर्क मिलेगा न्यूटन मीटर में. अभी स्टूडेंट क्या करते हैं, ये न्यूटन मीटर का वैल्यू जो है वो डायरेक्टली इधर सब्स्टिट्यूट करते हैं और डायमीटर कैलकुलेट करते हैं. यार अभी जब ये यहां से यहां पे सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे तो दिस टाउ आर जे मस्ट बी इन टर्म्स ऑफ मीटर, जबकि वो मिलीमीटर के टर्म में रहता है और वो आंसर रॉन्ग हो जाता है. अंडरस्टूड? या सो अगर ये टॉर्क आपको न्यूटन मीटर में आया तो उसको न्यूटन मिलीमीटर में कन्वर्ट करो और वो यहाँ पे यूज करो, और यहां से यहां पे यूज करते वक्त भी सेम थिंग. सो यू शुड नो अबाउट डायमेंशन. यार सो इज दैट क्लियर? एनी डाउट? Understood? Any doubt? Now I have sent you the PDF of the question bank, questions which we have to solve on this torsion. Here, almost tomorrow I am going to finish this torsion lesson, or at the most day after tomorrow. 3 lectures में torsion finish हो जाएगा. Okay? Any doubt? इतना ही आपको याद रखने का है, and that derivation. इतने अगर formula याद है ना, you can solve the sum very easily. No need to draw any figure, nothing. Just write down the given data, put the value and get the answer. Very easy lesson. Okay? Thank you. Write your name and roll number in 2 minutes.
Hello, sir.
हाँ बोलो.
Can you please share the recordings of the remaining lectures of bending
Yes,
stress?
today, without fail. For sure today.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.